What is up, everybody? Myself and Mr. Murphy are live with this week's Cop of the Week. How are you, sir? You doing well?
Very, very good. Very, very good. Very nice. Looking forward to getting into the news.
Yeah, loads to get through. We'll touch on the game yesterday, of course. We'll have a little chat about the AFCON transfer market, answer some chat. Anything you guys want to talk about, as always, this is your show. Got to get the ad read out of the way, though. We are being brought to you with thanks to our friends at manscaped.com. You can get 20% off and free shipping store-wide at Manscaped using our discount code WFM20. Your balls will thank you. I'll thank you. Paddy will thank you. Connor will thank you. Everybody will be thanking you. And you'll be smelling nice if you get the Eau de Toilette. I don't even know if it is an Eau de Toilette, Paddy, or if it's a fragrance. Let's just call it a fragrance. But you swear by it. You say it's actually nice. I haven't sniffed it yet.
It's very nice. I think it's an Eau de Toilette, but it's beautiful. It really is nice. If you want, it has the similar smell to the ball toner. It did that sort of aroma.
I haven't sniffed that one either.
But it is really nice. I would recommend.
So yeah, link below as always, WFM20, 20% off and free shipping. Right, where to start, Paddy? I mean, I'll give you the choice. So we can talk about transfers. We can expose Robbie a little bit more from AFTV for a second, or we can talk about the AFCON. I mean, it's up to you, mate. We're going to get through the ball one way or the other.
I wouldn't say no to a bit of AFTV slander. Well, the strike with Aaron's that, you know.
Right. Well, you know, I am a man who likes to please, and I am a man who likes to stick the boot in where possible, especially for this particular channel. But we were all awaiting the response from Kieran, who is DT's son. Now, what I get wound up by in this situation, Paddy, is I know Robbie knew. I know he knew. You know he knew. The dogs in the street know he knew. But there was no proof that we knew he knew until now. So Kieran has come out and said, wait till he realizes I have his character reference from October, which he gave, I believe, at a hearing over the case. You protected and stood by them, but as soon as your channel was on the ropes, you turned against him and my family. So it looks like Kieran is exposing Robbie for being a liar and protecting his company. And look, I don't know. I understand. I'm trying to be fair here. I understand that somebody would want to protect a brand and their brand. And I understand that mistakes get made. Of course I do. But what I don't like, mate, is when people are held up as a beacon of morality and doing things the right way and looking after people when you know in your heart of hearts they aren't that person.
Yeah, well, I think like Robbie would sacrifice his own family for the channel. You know, it's all about the money for Robbie. I've always said that. You know, I've never really liked how he's dealt with such situations. But this, as you said, everyone and their mother knew that he definitely did know. There's no way this just came out of nowhere. And DT's son seems to have proved that. So it's going to be interesting to see whatever press release AFTV do now. You know, denying it, I'd imagine. Yeah, it's just it's sad to no. But on the point of if Robbie like turning his back on the family now, I think there's no way back for DT on the channel anyway. Like I feel like once something like that of that gravity is brought up, you're done naturally. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how Robbie tries to squirm his way out of this one.
If there was, for me, look, there's no winners in this situation. Of course not. No. You know, there's only victims and there's only people whose lives have been turned upside down. But what gets me is that, so let's say Claude was on my channel as an example, and Claude said what he said. My response would have been, of course, to condemn what he said, but also to take it into context and go, I'm not taking this guy off our channel. He said something bad. He is not a bad person. Therein lies the difference. We all make mistakes. And I would ask people to look at Claude's character over his time involved with the channel and make their own decision. But I certainly wouldn't be throwing him under a bus when I know how much the channel means to him or how much the club would mean to him. And it would be the same if it was Connor or you or me. I just don't like people being two-faced. I don't like it, mate. And it does my fucking bicky in.
Yeah, 100%. I'm of the same opinion. If I was in your position or owned the channel and I would have done the exact same thing, especially knowing the way Claude went on. I thought it was very harsh to throw him off the channel, especially given how much passionate he was and stuff. And I said that at the time of Claude's death. I was obviously very sad to hear it, and I just felt really bad on how he was treated. The world these days, you know, it's gone a bit mad. And then obviously there is certain things you can say that would be unforgivable, but I feel like what he said was just a slip of the tongue. It was a mistake. He apologized for it, and I feel like he should have been allowed back in. But you know, when the sponsors and the money is on the line,
and I don't want to call out names here because then I don't want to get another person into trouble. But somebody else in that same period of time, said another, what I deem to be a racial slur, but it was against white people, and there was absolutely nothing said about it. Nothing. Not one thing. Not brought up. No press releases. Just, it's fine. The phrase, if my memory is right, was, if you're white, it's all right. With regards to getting away with doing stuff. Now, as I said, not my place to judge, but if you're trying to talk about equality and treating people fairly, surely both scenarios should have the same outcome.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, no, yeah, absolutely. They're a bit of a double standard in show there, like, and it's just, as I said, AFTV and the track record, they've proven that they, all that matters is the money. But no, as you said, they're much of the same. They're both coming from the same sort of negative undertone and should have been dealt with in the same manner. But some rules for some and different rules for the other.
Anyway, we'll park it there and leave it be, because ultimately, I suppose Arsenal fans and the football community in general will make their decision with their eyes. If they view, if they don't view, and it's not my place to tell people what to do or not to do. But, I can only ever give my view on things, my honest opinion on things. And look, Paddy, if you and I know what it's like nobody knows better than me, and you probably want to like the slip of the tongue. We say some stupid shit at times, you and I. We're very similar in that we bite on stuff we shouldn't. We get angry when we shouldn't, and we let lash when we shouldn't. But, I think in life, if you put your hands up and say, I'm sorry, I did it, people will ultimately understand and judge you from the strength of a year, 2 years of watching you and getting to know you.
Exactly. No, I think with me and you is the other people have a thing they call a filter that their brain applies before they say something.
What's that?
Myself and yourself, we bypass the filter and just it goes from the brain straight out the mouth without any approval from the brain. So it's quite funny, really. But I wouldn't change it. So far, so good. I haven't said out in mental just yet. Well, maybe I have. Who knows?
Yeah, there's one thing that I said once that didn't get picked up on, that I pulled myself up on afterwards, and yeah, I got away with it. And I'll tell you what it was. I was speaking with a referee, and I think I brought his nationality into it. I think I said, "You stupid," whatever country he was from at the time. I think it might have been the Netherlands. I should have brought his nationality until I pulled myself up on that one. But yeah, look, there's definitely a culture there where people just want people's lives turned upside down. And I don't think they often think about the body of work or the caliber of person that they're having a swing at. But as I said, we move on.
Yeah.
Right. Let's talk about yesterday, mate. And let's talk about the performance against Crystal Palace, because it was definitely a game of two halves.
Absolutely a game of two halves, 100%. And at one point I was like, here we go again. It'll be like, this is our chance to maybe get a bit of ground on City, but we'll show that we can. And be like, no, we're going to let them back in. I think Crystal Palace were really good in the second half. They have a lot of really good talents there. Michael Olise, Ebriche Eze, Edward. A lot of really exciting team. And I foolishly predicted them to get relegated at the start of the year because I just thought, Crystal Palace, Paddy V. I didn't think he had a proven track record. But I've been proven wrong. Fair play to them. But a game of two halves. We looked so good in the first half, so fluid. Looked like it could have been 5 or 6-0 in the first half. Like it looked like we were going on to that possible 7-0 territory last year. But Liverpool being Liverpool, decided to make a game of it for our viewing pleasure. Well, everyone else bar Liverpool fans. But then the penalty came and I feel like Crystal Palace really probably could have got a second goal there if the penalty hadn't been given. They really were in the ascendancy, but the penalty, that was a stone wall penalty, by the way, was given.
Yeah, we'll get to the piss boiling in a second. We'll get to that, Paddy, no doubt about it. But I read something today on The Athletic. I often like to read through the articles in the comment sections because, being a football fan, I'm always open to learning and picking up new things. And a really good point was raised by somebody in the comment section. So they're talking about the high defensive line that we play. And, there's the conversations around, is Matip fast enough for it? Is VVD losing a yard of pace? But one comment in particular stood out to me as one that I just thought, oh, yeah. So how many games have we gone 2-0 up this season and been pegged back? And the contributor's point was that maybe when we get 2-0 up in a game like that, we should drop the defensive line back 10 yards and just have a bit more space, because we've won the ball back high up the pitch on enough occasions. We've already got the goals in the bank. So let's just play normally, drop back a little bit and allow a bit of space there, allow yourself a bit of breathing room and make it more difficult for teams to try and get back at us. Because how easy was that. It was a great goal from Palace's perspective, mate, but it was far too easy. The space between Van Dijk and Robertson was, you could have put 2 double-decker buses through it.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Obviously, like Liverpool and Klopp, they love the high defensive line, but my God, it can really be our Achilles heel at times. And yeah, no, I'm fully on board with that. You know, once you're controlling the game, there's no harm in being more reserved. A bit like going ultra defensive in FIFA. Anyone who plays will know. Craig, after your performance last night, you'll even know. No.
What do you mean jockey and toggle with circle? I don't get that, mate. I'm still trying to figure that out.
Don't worry, neither so am I. Anyone who watches my streams will tell you that. But yeah, no, you're right. It's just it's so easily exploited if teams time it right, and it was such an easy goal for them. Well played by them, but it was too simple. Too simple. Van Dijk was caught in no man's land. But I'd love just a bit more game management at times. And it's also a case of when we're up 2-0 and we're cruising, we get complacent and think it's getting too easy. I don't know. We also take our foot off the gas a little bit as well. I don't know why we can't just keep going as if it's 0-0. There's a case of getting lackadaisical. I think that's one of Van Dijk's traits as well. He's so good sometimes he actually becomes a bit lackadaisical because he's like maybe switched off because of how easy it might seem. But obviously, one foul swoop and the other team is in.
That's a good point you raised, actually. There's a few comments that I'll get to in a sec, by the way. But yeah, there's a good point you raised there. When I look at Manchester City as an example, they're our rivals right now in the league table. You see a ruthlessness there. When they go 2-0 up, you can almost be sure they're going to go 3-0, 4-0 if they're bossing a game. We don't seem to have that same ruthlessness, mate. And I don't know if it's intentional or if we drop off. And I'll take you back to the United game there as an example. We could have gone on to win that game 6-7-8 if we really put the foot down. But what do you think about that? Like, are we lacking that ruthless streak?
Yeah, it's a strange one. Again, the United game as well. We were 4-0 up at half time. Like we should have went on and won that 7-8. Now there's almost a case of Klopp maybe telling us to take it easy. Now the job is done. Don't like overexert yourselves. I think it could be down to a bit of our style a little bit because of the gegenpressing style. It's very demanding. It's very physical. And with our injury record, maybe it's a case of just we're cruising here. Just take it easy. I think that could be some of the guidelines at times. But yeah, if you're 4-0 up, grand, you can do that. But if you're only 2-0 up, we've shown on multiple occasions that we need that third goal. 2-goal, 1-0 almost feels surer than 2-0 for us at times. That Chelsea game, case in point, cruising, and all of a sudden a few moments of madness, and then the game is in the balance. And like we've dropped 4 points to that Chelsea team as well, by the way, that we shouldn't have. And again, we'll get into that.
The AC Milan game at home as well, the Champions League. And
Atletico Madrid.
Yeah,
I know we got the third one, but we just at times we just seem a bit toothless. It's like it's almost as if they're drilled in, like, just relax now, you're winning, just take it easy, just to avoid injury. Because it is, I think it ties into Klopp's style, which is probably why it's different in the City, but it can be very frustrating.
Yeah, no, it's a fair point. Right, to get back to the goals yesterday then. So first goal from the header, no arguments around it. Good delivery by Robertson. Brilliant €330 winning header from Virgil van Dijk into the top corner, which made me very happy. But one thing I missed yesterday, Paddy, till I watched Match of the Day 2 last night, was the Firmino incident for the second goal. So I don't know if you've had a chance to see this, but there is a train of thought that Firmino was offside in the build-up. But because he didn't technically touch the ball, it seems VAR said that he didn't hinder the defence of Palace. But when the lads last night on Match of the Day 2 were talking about it, they were like, well, of course he did. Because you could see Firmino drew the defender that was beside Ox closer to him and left space behind for Oxlade-Chamberlain to be able to control the ball like he did. So although Firmino didn't get a touch, I do have sympathy with Palace. And I didn't realise it at the time till I watched it back on. Yeah, look, he definitely was influencing the defender's mindset. Now, is that enough? That's not for us to say.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I've seen the incident and I can see what the pundits and all are saying. But for me, offsides, it's like if you're not directly impactful with the play of like the actual ball, I think it's a fair game. If that had been chalked off, I feel like it would have been very harsh. I feel like anyone would have felt hard done by that. I think it's always the rule of thumb for me that once they're not directly impactful with the play, like the course of the ball, I think it's fine. And people may say, "Oh, but he drew him away," but I think that's just really searching for it at that point. It's like they're really just looking for a reason. I feel like no other club would have got that. I think in my opinion, it was the right decision, and it wasn't the only right decision in that game, which we'll get into.
I feel like our gut a lot of the time, what we see with our eyes, you get a feeling of, if he scored a goal, this might be looked at. They might pull this back. I didn't have that feeling for that Oxlade-Chamberlain goal, I thought to myself, well, there's no way anything here can be ruled out at the time because good ball in, Ox definitely onside, nice bit of control, good finish. But we move on to the penalty incident, mate, which I only ever try and put myself in the head of if we conceded that penalty. You do you believe it was a penalty?
Yes. Stonewall penalty.
Nope. We're back.
It was. Oh, were we gone? Was I gone there?
Sorry, my end it was. Sorry, apologies, mate.
Sorry.
You think it was a penalty?
Stonewall penalty, Craig, yes.
Why?
Because ultimately it's a foul from Guaita on Jota. Regardless of where the ball is, it's a foul in the box from the defender. So, in my opinion, it's a penalty. Now, I didn't think it would be given because I thought they'd look at the ball and people say, "Oh, with the ball." I don't think it matters where the ball is. At the end of the day, there was a foul committed, and people say, "Oh, he ran into the keeper," but no, he was going for the ball. I think it's a foul committed in the box, therefore a penalty. That's my opinion of it. I think it was a stonewaller.
I would disagree. My thinking would be, at the time I wondered, was Jota saving grace the fact that he may have been able to get to the ball because he shanked the shot a little bit with his left foot. But when I looked at it back and I looked at the trajectory of the goalkeeper and Jota, they were both coming towards each other. I just feel it was a soft one. Now, am I happy we got it? You bet your ass I am. But, if I'm being really honest, if we conceded that penalty, I'm fuming and I'm screaming abuse of VAR and the television. And what really got me on it, mate, was so the referee looks at it, Kevin Friend looks at it and says, no penalty, on-field decision, no penalty. He has a good view of it. So then Craig Paulson, who's in VAR, who didn't give a penalty when Ederson clattered into somebody a few weeks back, says to himself, I'm guessing psychologically, well, I can't at least let them think that I didn't have a look at this. So I look at it and I'm going to then pass the book back over to Kevin Friend. And I'm going to say, Kevin, you might want to have a little look at this on the monitor again. In the back of my mind, no, well, that covers my ass here. I've done my bit. And then Kevin Friend to come over. And I'm shocked that Kevin Friend felt he's seen enough to change his own decision.
Yeah, well, I tell you, Kevin had certainly no friends from the Crystal Palace fans anyway after that decision, in their eyes. Yeah, it's a weird one. I think you could be right with your ideology there about Pawson maybe just saying, just check it. And obviously once he goes to the screen, it's kind of stone clad that it's going to be given. Like, I don't know. I feel like you said you'd be annoyed if it was given again. If it was given against us, I would have been like, maybe a bit soft, but I feel like that's fair enough. I don't know. I just feel like it was.
Imagine that was Harry Kane and Alisson.
Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like it's a foul by the keeper. I don't know. Maybe I think like if I was an opposing fan, I would have hung on to the fact of the ball being away. But I think by the letter of the law, that kind of becomes a little bit irrelevant. Because it is a foul in the box, regardless. I just think it is a foul by Guaita. I know they kind of were due to clash anyway, but I don't know. I feel like he takes the feet from under Jota almost.
I want to just draw your attention to another incident which caught the eye yesterday. In Spurs game against Chelsea. I don't know if you've seen the Harry Kane disallowed goal for the shove, the push, whatever you want to call it, on Thiago Silva. Thiago Silva played a blinder there. Let me say that. I mean, he didn't overdo it, but he did it just enough. Do you think that goal should have stood, or do you think it should have been a free kick out?
Yeah, I seen the debate on that as well, and I looked at it and I was like, I think it was a foul. I think it was a push. He pushed him.
Right.
Regardless of how minimal the contact is, you can't do that, I don't think, in my opinion. So, yeah, I think it's fair enough. So, yeah, I don't get me wrong. Thiago Silva definitely, doesn't have he doesn't, you know what I mean? He definitely has gone to drama school for that one. But it is a push by Kane. So, by the letter of law, I think it's a foul.
So, I agree with you 100% on that. So, then I suppose my next question is, when the roles are reversed and we see it from every single corner and set piece in a game, 10 times more argy-bargy goes on in around the 6-yard box. Why aren't we seeing 50 penalties a game? This is the hypocrisy of football that I struggle to get my head around a lot of the time. How different things in different parts of the pitch, different laws seem to apply. Whereas if that happens on the halfway line, we're getting free kicks all day, no one's questioning it. But if it's the other way, if it's the defender dragging it forward there in the penalty area, you're never getting a penalty for that level of contact. So I agree with you, but it also shows hypocrisy in the system to me.
Yeah, absolutely. I echo that. I don't like how different parts of the pitch and get require different actions. A foul should be one foul should be a foul anywhere on the pitch. I do agree with that. I share that, but it just isn't the way it goes. And I know it kind of makes no sense to me, but it should be fouls no matter where they're committed on the pitch. That's just the whole point, in my opinion. But again, that's true. It is a valid point, and it's kind of baffling because I'm trying to analyze it. But if they can't figure out why they do it, I certainly can't. But it's frustrating how inconsistent it is.
Here's another one that gets me. Free kicks, they almost have the ruler out, measuring centimeters and inches, right? Throw-ins, pinch 15 yards up the pitch, and they're not a bother.
Yeah, I was actually funny. I think Hendo tried to do one yesterday, and he took it from like the distance he tried to get on it. I was like, that's audacious. But yeah, no, I agree. I feel like they tried to be as strict on that as they can, but they definitely like steal a few inches here and there. Same with the corners as well. So I don't know how some of those balls are considered in the quadrant, because my God, they look awful. But yeah, it's strange. There's no consistency, really, is there? I don't think none of us are
Sport
surprised
has
by
so
that.
many mad hypocrisies, mate, that it's difficult to rationalize everything. Right, I want to move on to transfers for a sec, Paddy, because we're just touching on this beforehand. I want to bring up the right article here. Is this it? Oh, look at that, first time. So, article out from Football Insider, I think it's on the Echo today, that said Aston Villa to make fresh Joe Gomez approach. They say Villa haven't given up hope of signing Liverpool defender Joe Gomez, according to reports. Football Insider claims the Midland club are set to make a fresh approach after they initially registered their interest in the player earlier in the window. Steven Gerrard is a huge admirer of Gomez, and Liverpool are likely to offload one defender before deadline day. It's worth noting, though, that Nat Phillips has been heavily linked with the exit and is unlikely the club will allow both to leave midway through the season. While the 24-year-old is undoubtedly at a crossroads in his Anfield career, he slipped down the pecking order behind Matip and Canade. The summer would be a more reasonable time to make a decision on his future. So, how are you feeling about this Nat Phillips, Joe Gomez situation, and at least one of them probably moving on?
So obviously, yes, I agree. Both of them can't leave. However, I feel like the point of him being at a crossroads is evident, because the Nat Phillips one is different because he's gone from complete obscurity at the club to playing, and then realizing, okay, let's not take the piss here. I'm not gonna start. That's fair enough. Whereas Joe Gomez has gone from being the main man in a title winning team, Champions League winning team, to now being way behind. So his own that'll be very hard for him to adapt to mentally. He might feel like he can force his way back in. That's fair enough. But I just think that move to Villa, I've said it a lot already. I think it makes perfect sense.
I remember you saying it.
Yeah, I think it makes perfect sense from him, for Villa, and for Liverpool to a degree, because we can get a nice wedge of coin from Joe Gomez, because he's, as I said, Premier League winning, Champions League winning, Club World Cup winning, Super Cup winning, England international. He will command the fee, and he has ambitions to go play at the World Cup for England. And if he stays at Liverpool, he will not go to the World Cup. Whereas if he goes to Aston Villa, he would be the best centre back at Villa. He's better than Konza, he's better than House, he's better than Mings. So he'd become the main man at a Villa side that is going to be going up, and he'll be playing. So in terms of his career, I think it's a must go for him. But I think it won't happen in January, purely because I think Nat Phillips is going to go, and we're not going to let Joe go as well. But it's a shame, because if he wants to go to the World Cup, this is his best chance, and probably only chance, really. And Villa's a perfect place for him because of that Gerrard connection also. Maybe loan him, I don't know.
Yeah, see, the struggle I have with this is I've no problem with. I understand why Gomez would want to move, why Nat Phillips might want to move, and why the club could consider cashing in on them. The problem I have here, Paddy, is that I have absolutely zero fucking belief that if these two leave, that the club are going to go out and find adequate replacements. That's the problem, and this scenario becomes a little bit skewed for me, because I don't want we have to bring through the next generation rammed down our throats again. We need to have 4 top-notch centre-backs. We need to. It just has to be.
Yeah, that's true. And listen, while as much as we love Big Joel, and he has been fit this season relatively, he's not magically going to forget his previous injury woes, and he's a walking injury. He's an injury waiting to happen, hopefully not, but, it's a bit dangerous. Like, if you sell both of them suddenly, and then next thing you know, we're as bare as we were last year after an injury, It's a lot of pressure to believe in the main. Like I think in the future, in the next coming seasons, and now are it will be Konate and Van Dijk. If Konate is the heir to the throne, and him and Van Dijk are going to form a formidable partnership, and then Matip's, as I said, it's going to be very dangerous to put a lot of pressure on him being fit all the time. You know what I mean? So you can't sell both of them. I think you can only sell one, and I think Nat Phillips this seems to already be done. So it might be a case of Joe Gomez is just going to have to lump it up and work his arse off to try and get back into the team. But I just don't think he's quite good enough. I just feel like he's. I think Konate is way better, Matip's way better, and obviously Big Verge.
I rate Joe Gomez, but I just don't believe his body will hold up, and that's not a dig at him because he can't help it. Like if his body has suffered some traumas and some injuries, not his fault. Like it's just one of them things. So ultimately, and I can't believe I'm about to say this, I'd sell Joe Gomez this month over Nat Phillips because of the reliability factor of Phillips, not because I think he's a better centre back. If we're looking at a situation where both of them might leave by next summer, I would rather try and get the top dollar now for Gomez in a market where they're a bit more desperate.
And Villa, exactly. And Villa will want it done as well. And don't forget, like Gerrard will not want to haggle with Liverpool. He'll want to just like make a good deal that's good for everyone. So yeah, I agree with it. And it's more money towards the transfer kitty that we won't spend. So great. But no, I agree. I'd rather keep Nat Phillips.
Impressive.
Which?
The transfer kitty that we never get to see must be looking impressive at this point.
It must be unbelievable. But I also think there's a player welfare aspect where Nat Phillips is used to be playing second fiddle, third fiddle, or whatever. But Joe Gomez has said, it's going to be better for him in his career, and I think it's just best for everyone. I think just sell him, get rid of him, honestly, you could get how much is left in his deal? 2 years, 3 years?
Which one, Gomez? I'm not sure. Chris is in the chat. Stone Age, get your finger out there, mate, and find out.
Like I think you could market value for him should be like 45, 50 million. Ooh. If Harry Maguire went for 80 million, Joe Gomez is up on 50 million, 100%.
Yeah, see, the thing about Joe is he's still only 24. Am I right? 24, exactly. 25 Gomez, which is ridiculous when you think he's Premier League winner, Champions League winner, an England international. Somebody we brought in, was he 18 when we brought him from Charlton at the time?
Charlton, yeah.
That's like there's still a lot of career left in Joe Gomez. So yeah, you're right. Maybe my 30 million was ridiculous valuation
for a centre back as well.
Yeah, well, I'm seeing Thiago Carlos at about 40 million. He's better defender than Thiago Carlos, 100%. Absolutely, that Dejan Lovren Mark II from Sevilla.
That's the thing. I was actually going to make a joke of if Joe Gomez's name was, but his name is already pretty like exotic, isn't it? So that doesn't work. But Joe's runs out in 2024. Yeah, 50 million, 100%. Gerrard is allowed to spend money at Villa. Not very good. But that's actually, I was laughing at that as well. Gerrard's probably going to have to take a downgrade in terms of a transfer kitty when he comes to Liverpool, which is truly bizarre.
That's embarrassing, isn't it, to even think
that's embarrassing because it's not even a joke. Like Villa are showing more ambitious, and yes, Villa need more work, but like we've gone through this again. Like Liverpool need work as well. We just don't need world class starters, but we're still not doing anything. But yeah, I think sell Joe, get up as close to 50 million as you can. Boom, and he's worth it. By the way, I don't want to hear anyone say otherwise. As you said, look at his age, look at his track record, look what Harry Maguire went for. He's the benchmark, don't forget. So yeah, 50 million. Thank you very much. Put it towards.
I mean, I think what Victor says there, I think it certainly has to be taken into account.
I am. The 50 million is that an account.
I suppose,
again, let me remind you, Harry Maguire. Well, let me remind you, Harry Maguire went for 80 million. So yes, even with the injury record, 50 million. He is the barometer. He's the benchmark. If a player like Joe Gomez is better than Harry Maguire, by the way, don't get it twisted. He is better, 100%.
But we can offset that injury record with, as Chris has pointed out there, the English tax. So you pay a premium as well for an English player.
Yeah. So again, 50 million is a good deal. Aston Villa, take it now. You're getting a bargain. Someone just said they love Paddy's eyes. Thank you.
We'll have you up to 60 million. You'd be adamant you're robbing yourself of 50 million in about 5 minutes.
Exactly, yeah.
So look,
I should be in charge of the negotiation.
It looks like someone's moving on in the last week of this transfer window. Now we're looking at maybe somebody moving in, which would be nice for a change. Let's have a little chat around Fabio Carvalho, because there was a piece came out today in, oh God, where did this one come out? No, that wasn't in Football International. I can't remember where it was. That came out that said that Leeds and West Ham are also interested in signing the very promising Fulham youngster who has less than 6 months remaining on his contract. You know, people keep saying where to get this from, think we're making it up, but the club are talking to Fulham and they are trying to get him through the doors. And the common sense thing for me, Paddy, would be to sign him and just loan him back for the rest of the season.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, I agree. And you know, even if you know, he wasn't like so good right now, it's a case of you should just sign him anyway for the case of if he's good, because that's what sort of business you should do. The club can afford to do things like that, not take the risk of him getting unreal and then having to sign him for mad money. I've looked at him, I've watched him for Fulham in some games. He looks phenomenal. He looks like a really, really good talent, and it's a no-brainer to get it done. Don't let another Premier League club do it, because then they're going to work on him and then they're going to sell him to you for a mug in a year's 2 years time for quadruple the price. So that's not what we need to do. We need to just strike while the iron's hot. If you're interested, just get him done. Just give him 5 million, whatever. How are you now? Thank you very much.
And then we have another. To try and figure out more than quadruple, weren't you?
Yeah, it's definitely
like happens to me all the time as well. And I'm like, just the quadruple. Yeah.
There's a comment there. Carvalho's class. Yeah. The way he could sit from the left, and that's the thing as well. Like, he's playing on the left as well. He can do it. He'd be a perfect little fella to come in and learn under Mane and push Mane. You know what I mean? Because, you know, and Fulham produce good youngsters, by the way. And as you said, Jorge Mendes is his agent, same as Fab. Or it's not Fab, same as which?
No, it's not his agent yet. Actually, I found that out the other day.
Oh, not yet. It's going to be
different around trying to get him to sign the papers, but he hasn't signed. I think it's his father and his brother, maybe, or certainly his father represents him at the minute. But tell you what, Paddy, what we do have and what we can say to young Fabio Carvalho is, you know, you will get your opportunities here. We're not signing you for 4 or 5 years. We're signing you now because we think yourself, Harvey Elliott, Curtis Jones, Tyler Morton, Queeveen Kelleher, we think this is the evolution of this Liverpool squad, mate. And they can show him the pathway. They can say, look what's happened to Harvey since he's come here. And Harvey can say to him as well. So I love it. I love the idea of this signing. I'm all over it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And by the way, can I just say, like, I am unbelievably shocked at how good Curtis Jones has been. And the boys coming back from injury and all, there's no guarantee to displace him. I want to see him playing. He's been unbelievable. And we have a good crop of youngsters here, and we need to keep adding to that because, again, not only from an on-field decision, it makes sense from a financial decision. Buy a youngster, curate them, you know, get them, you know, finally polish them. And then if they're not good enough to play for you, you can sell them off for a mad profit. And maybe then you can actually spend some money, John.
Where's the money,
Big
John?
money.
Where's the money?
Where's the money, John? Where's the money?
Apparently, Connor sent me something today. Let me just whip this up here on
apparently
our Discord. So yeah, I'm always worried when I see this type of shit, but hang on. Right, so Liverpool are testing the water among fans over such things as NFTs and cryptocurrency as they look for new revenue streams. You tight bastard. You're not getting enough out of us as it is. Buy someone, John. Jesus.
This NFT ball, I swear to God, I can't wrap my head around. I can't understand how that's worth money. But no, football better never go that way. I seen people wanted to buy a football club with NFTs. Like, no, that is ludicrous. Let's not take the piss. No, I wouldn't surprise me. They'd do anything. I was going to say something horrific there, but no, they would do anything for a few quid, let me tell you. And I'm just, that crypto stuff and NFTs, it truly baffles me. NFTs in particular, I don't understand how they have.
Of the two, the NFTs are the one that I actually see some value in. Of the two of them,
I was the opposite
options because, okay, it's digital, but you do still own the copyright of the digital work. So I can kind of understand the NFTs, but the cryptocurrency thing, each to their own, but I certainly will not be investing any money in cryptocurrency anytime soon. And I don't want Liverpool to start going down the route of just looking to make a quick buck because, you know, we've seen fan tokens. I believe that part of the Messi deal to PSG involved fan tokens around Messi that they could help to leverage or offset some of the cost of the transfer by selling these tokens or NFTs around Messi and stuff, which is just a bit of a shady practice for me at the minute. I don't like it. There's enough fucking money in football as it is.
Yeah, as you said, I prefer to waste my money elsewhere than highfalutin shite. And there's enough money. Like, going down that road in football just won't work. It just does. It's not. It's just. Well, that's just the way the world's going with technology. But no, it's not for me. But again, it wouldn't surprise me if FSG tried to throw their hand at that. As I said, they throw their hand at anything. But I wish they just throw their hand at their pocket and give us some money to sign people.
Yeah, I wish they'd. We'll get a point now where we're getting excited about fucking virtually, monitoring people or something. They find a way to get us excited about pretending transfers and stuff. But happy stat, Paddy. A happy stat for you. So, Pros Premier League assists this season: first, second, and third, all Liverpool. Alexander-Arnold 10, Salah 9, Robertson 8. I mean, I'll take that.
Can I just say as well, how good Robertson's been since when he was dropped? He has been phenomenal. He has been back to his best, which is why we need a competent left wing to come in and do the same thing for Mane. Drop Mane, make him realize he's not infallible, make him work his arse off. That's that's what you need at a top level club. Robertson, he was playing a bit shit. Klopp said, right, you're out until you get better. And then Robertson said, all right, mate, calm the fuck down. I'll play better now. And he did. And there we go. And yeah, Trent, that pass, by the way, for the Jota penalty, holy mother of God, he is out of this world. We are lucky to have such footballers at our club.
He was still shy against Palace, though. I got to be honest, that wasn't a great performance.
Yeah, I wish we could just. I wish he just didn't have to defend and was just only attacking. But yeah, defensively he can be caught out for sure. But yeah, if he keeps producing balls like that, we can get away with shit defending. That's why it's good. That's why last year without Van Dijk, he got exposed because he didn't have that buffer of having Van Dijk there and stuff. But now that Van Dijk's back, he can get away with being a bit shit on the right because Van Dijk will usually cover. But he's a generational footballer. There's no question about it.
So looking ahead then to the next transfer window, I mean, speaking to Chris and the lads at LFC Transfer Room about this, one thing that stood out to me is one of their guys, Jack, was saying that I don't know, I can't speak for you here, Paddy, but I believe Liverpool will do business in the summer, and I believe we'll do some serious business in the summer. But even at that, I think the fact that we're at a point where we might need to go and get 4 or 5 with regards to what we will have outgoing as well, I think that's a big task to try and sort out one window. And I think that the succession planning hasn't been great. And which is kind of goes in the face of everything you would normally associate with FSG, because planning, research, rigor, leaving no stone unturned, they're all things that FSG have generally done to the running of the club. But they've also, let the transfer business get out of hand here. And I think we've a lot of catching up to do, and I don't know about doing it in one window, especially when people know you need to do business.
Yeah, also shout out to D Pierce, some really good points in the chat there. But yeah, no, and that's why I'm kind of hoping why our Januaries have been a bit quiet, because they're gearing up for a really big summer, because there is a lot of work that needs to be done. There's a lot of TLC that needs to be done with contracts running out and stuff. So maybe that's why we haven't seen any action, because I'm hoping, sure, like, listen, they're professionals. They're you know what I mean. They're business people. Surely they're not that stupid. There surely is a plan in place. And you said, I know we'll do business. I all I can do is hope. With FSG as owners, I never expect anything, but we do need, and I hope we can get that big superstar that we're crying out for, aka Choo Choo.
I mean, I signed him within 10 minutes when I took an LFC career mode. Yes, I don't know what all the hassle is, mate. So I sat down with the lad, crunchy cup of coffee, 5-minute chat, contract signed.
I seen it. They need to get you in charge of transfer fees. Honestly, you were a smooth mover.
Yeah, but it's just in the blood, mate. We're wheeler dealers as Irish lads, aren't we? So we're out there trying to make a few bob for everybody. Yeah, exactly. What do you mean you want to shake me hand? You're not one of Chris Stonage's lot, are you? You anti-Irish brigade. She's not even here. You're getting the gigs in.
Oh, we love it. We love it.
So I keep going back to the conversation about the front three, Paddy, but every conversation that I have with people goes one of two ways. The people who feel that Salah's not going to get his contract and that he's going to be the person that FSG leverage to get value so we can go on this shopping spree. And then there's the other side of the debate where people get insulted when you talk about selling Mane or Firmino. And I think people need to realise that it doesn't mean that we don't appreciate them, but some of us just feel that time for a shake-up, and contract situations mean that decisions are going to have to be made on these guys, and some uncomfortable decisions. So I think we need to be able to have a grown-up conversation and say that one of, if not two of, Mane and Firmino will probably be moved on.
Yeah, absolutely. And simply put, when it comes to transfers, you simply have to just take away all sentimentality and look at it from a purely objective performance-based view. Are these players good enough right now? Do they deserve a new contract, etc., etc.? You move like that. And that's how you have to do it. And that's how the owners will do it. And someone's not going to get a contract just for loyalty and being good. But if they're not good currently and offering enough right now, it doesn't make sense to renew their contracts, which is why um, I think only one is guaranteed a contract. Or, well, I mean, Jesus, he should be, which is Salah. I think Mane will be gone because I just don't. I feel like he's coming to the end of his time. He's just declining, and I just don't think he's going to get an improved deal, so he won't sign it. And I think Firmino, it'll come down to a decision. I feel like he'll be offered a new contract based on like different terms, lower terms, and if he's willing to do that and accept being a bit part player, then great. If not, he'll have to go as well.
I'm at a point now with the progression of Diogo Jota where I'm almost saying to myself, okay, it's probably a calculated risk if you let Mane and Firmino go. If you tie Salah down, you have Jota there, because Jota, I don't think he can replicate Firmino, but he's a dogged, hard-working, intelligent footballer that can play left, can play centre, can play right. So I don't think it's as much of a gamble bringing in two forwards in one window. And we may even need three, Paddy, because we haven't spoke about the fact that Origi's going to move on probably in the summer as well. And Minamino, we both agree, isn't up to it. As much as Chris wants to try and defend him, I don't feel he's up to it. And I don't think he will be a success. So I think we just need to do it. And I think that the reason why I believe that we're going to go down this route of moving them on is I think that the tone was set with the Gini Wijnaldum situation, that the club could have well afforded to have given him a contract, but they ultimately looked at his age and they looked at how much the contract would cost them, and they looked at the fact that they'd make no money at the end of it and probably thought they'd rather invest that money in somebody, but yet still haven't.
Yeah, no, and going back to your beginning point, I think Jota, for me, one of the even said the comment said there, he's the next number 9. He's the next in the middle, because I think he's all right on the wing, but I prefer him straight down the middle. I think he has the attacking nous, he has the finishing ability to be our out centralized number 9. You play Salah off the right, and then we need someone to play in like in a 10, which I don't think will be Bobby. I think we need to find the new 10. Is there a case for Curtis Jones as a 10 possibly in the future? I don't know, maybe.
Is there a case for Curtis Jones on the left side of the attack? He hasn't got the pace.
Absolutely.
He's got the trickery, got the caliber. I don't know if he's the pace though.
No, I don't think he quite has the pace that we'd need. I think we need to sign a new left winger, which we've been linked with everyone. Jared Bowen might come in there and play in the 10 even. Luis Diaz is one I'd love. I think that's what we're going to do in the summer. Sign a brand new left winger, move Mane on. We have such potential. I think the only 100% in our attack in the future is going to be Salah on the right and Jota as the striker. That's what I want to see. And then you have a bit of fun then with the 10 and then who's on the left. And then, it's going to be really interesting. But there is work to be done, a lot of work to be done, because there's going to be a lot of outgoings. And we can't just magically rely on youngsters, because youngsters are great and all. Don't get me wrong. We have a lot of good ones there. But you need the experience as well. People who are proven winners. People, that counts for a lot when in tough games when the going gets tough. You need people who have the head for it as well. That's a big part of signing a player also. Not magically just a youngster who happens to be great. That is great, but they have their downsides as well. We can't just expect miracles.
That's true. Somebody put something in a comment in a stream earlier on today that I actually thought, he said that Fabio Carvalho kid gives him Coutinho vibes, and I can get that. I can understand where he's coming from.
Yeah, perhaps, for sure. He's that type. He's exciting. He's skillful. I think he's officially an attacking midfielder. So yeah, absolutely. My favorite sort of Coutinho vibes would be Coutinho themselves. I wouldn't mind if taking him. Like as I said, I've fucking hell. I'm all for Coutinho vibes. So why don't you just fucking get him himself? He's fucking still good. But listen, that's obviously a wishful thought. But yeah, no, for sure. It's just obviously this January we're going to do nothing, I don't think. But this summer is going to be. I don't know what we're going to win this year. I think hopefully we'll win the Carabao Cup final. Hopefully we'll win one of the big ones. I mean, hopefully we win both of them, but I don't think we will. But no matter what happens this season, this upcoming summer is going to be a defining summer in our near future. Because we will be in a place of limbo, I think, because we are losing big players in our system. And Klopp is not going to be here forever, so we need to strike while the iron's hot. So it's a very definitive summer coming up.
Yeah, when I think about it though, like moving on Mane, moving on Firmino, let's say, that means doing quick maths in my head with Origi leaving, we need to bring in at least 3 forwards, which is, I mean, our expectations have been lowered, mate, a lot, but to see Liverpool go out and bring in 3 forwards before we even look at the midfield situation, even if we do bring in money, it's I don't think any of us would have the utmost confidence that's going to happen.
But neither would I. But I feel like Cade Gordon's going to get promoted.
Yeah, good show.
I feel like he'll be promoted, and then they're going to Harvey Elliott-esque. You can tell when Klopp, and as Chris said in the previous show, Steve even said it. I think Klopp has a thing for doing that, upgrading youngsters and molding them in. So I feel like we're going to see him get upgraded. You still have Mateusz Mujalowski there, and the young Polish fella. I hope to see more of in the future. I think he could be really good. So I think we're going to upgrade Cade Gordon. So then maybe you're looking at bringing in 2 forwards, which is feasible and doable. I could build a perfect transfer window. You're going to get Jude Bellingham, you're going to get Luis Diaz, you're going to get Fabio Carvalho. Boom, excellent.
I'm not on board this Luis Diaz bus, by the way.
You're not.
I just think it's partly because of my own ignorance around the player. I'll be the first one to admit that. But when I see the figures being mentioned, I just can't help but think Rafinha or Bowen are just far easier options for in and around the same money, perhaps.
Yeah, I'm just thinking of purely from a left-sided point of view, but I agree as on the right side for sure. I know Bowen could probably play anywhere across the front three. Could Rafinha? I just like the idea of having inverted wingers, like Salah on the right with a left foot, and then a left winger with a right foot. That's what I like.
It's mad to think that Mane actually gave up his preferred position on the right for Salah when Salah came in, and now we think of him as this fantastic, all-conquering left winger, which he has been. It's mad, it just shows how versatile he is.
That's true. And it's sad because in an ideal world, I'd love Mane to still be the Mane we know and love, and still have him. I love Mane. Don't get me wrong, and I don't want him to go, but I just think it's getting to that stage where I just don't think he's at. I think we can just get better right now, ultimately. And yeah, listen, I'll trust whoever Klopp decides to bring in, as long as he brings in someone to play in the left. That's it for me. And also a bit random out there. When are we going to be looking for the Hendo replacement?
Yeah, see, I said this in a few streams. In my brain, I've already moved Hendo to the Milner role, as in you're on the bench, you get a few games. When we need a bit of seniority or a bit of nous, you come on to see out games and help the younger lads through. So in my head, I'm already at that point now where Milner's left, and then Jordan Henderson will still be club captain, but won't play anywhere near as many games as we're used to seeing him play. But then the question comes, Paddy, of who makes up the midfield? Because I know straight away your dream midfield is Fabinho, Thiago, correct?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Which I've no argument with. They're quality players.
I feel like we just deserve to see it at least once, man. I just think they're the 3 best midfielders at the club. But I more than ever, I feel like it's time to demote Henderson, not from captain, but just from being the starting player in our team. I don't think our best 11 has Henderson in it. That is my opinion, and I believe it's pretty spot on. He's been very lackluster the last while, and he's just, I don't know. I just feel like we have better. I know Kate has made a glass. Listen, that midfield that I said is not going to happen, but I feel like Fabinho and Thiago 100%, and I think Harvey Elliott is going to be in the midfield going forward, and he would have stayed in that midfield all year without injury, and what if, it doesn't matter. But for me, Henderson is no longer in our best 11, and therefore we need to stop persisting with him in the best 11 just because he's club captain. If he wasn't club captain, he already would have been dropped, I think. The fact that he's captain, gets him bit of extra time. And I think he's declining rapidly, by the way.
I get you. And I pulled him up on his performance yesterday, which I thought was average, not up. I wonder are his best days behind him, mate, because what you get from Jordan Henderson is an engine. We've always known that. And if the engine isn't running on all cylinders, that takes away a lot of his game and a lot of his influence. So I understand where you're coming from. And to get back to my own point about Wijnaldum not being replaced, I do have some sympathy for Klopp and the scouts and the coaches, because he probably knew that Harvey Elliott was going to take a lot of those minutes, and was very unlucky that Harvey Elliott picked up such a shocking, horrendous, horrible injury. But as a football club, we should know at this point, if it fucking can go wrong, mate, it will go wrong.
Absolutely. And some of the comments there asking about Curtis Jones. Right, the way Curtis Jones is playing right now, I'd be starting him. I think he's been absolutely phenomenal the way, and he offers just something different. I think it definitely much depends. Our midfield going forward just depends on the opposition. It'll adapt based on the opposition, you know. But we have, I just, you know, I feel bad saying it, but I think Henderson's a key. He was a key cog in the operation, but I feel like he's just becoming less and less. Taking out the way, yeah, I know it's sad, but that's the thing.
I feel that way. I fucking love the man. I love him.
Yeah, I think just sometimes you have to be objective and you have to be pragmatic, and you have to say he's not the best option for us right now. I think he's been really lackluster in some of the games this year. And I feel like people always say, but he offers. I feel like you can get someone who offers as much as Hendo, going back defending wise and going forward. Like in the new modern age of football, you can get someone who can do both. It doesn't have to just be one or the other. So yeah, I don't think I hope. Listen, bottom line is going into next season, I hope Jordan Henderson isn't starting for Liverpool, and it's simple as that.
I want to address this. It isn't disrespect, though. It's an honest opinion, mate. I mean, will we still be talking this way in 3 years, 4 years time? If his legs aren't at the level they used to be, and he's not putting in the level of performance we've seen, and I was one of the ones that defended Henderson relentlessly when people wanted Emre Can to take his place, and people were saying that he was no good and that he only passed sideways. No, I never bought into any of that. But I don't think I would be being honest if I sat here and said to myself, I don't think he's on the decline. I do think he's on the decline. And I think that as fans, we should talk about this. It doesn't mean we don't love him, respect him, and acknowledge the great things he's done. And he will still be the club's leader and figurehead. He just won't be involved in as many minutes on the pitch.
Absolutely, yeah, and there's nothing wrong with that. People say, oh, disrespect, yeah, but that's exactly what I'm talking about. Just because he's the captain, yeah, he deserves respect, but acknowledging he's not good enough compared to other players is not disrespectful. You know what I mean? It's just the way it is. It's life, you know? He's not as good. He's not our best option anymore, I don't think. And that's not disrespectful. You can't just play him forever out of respect. That would be a foolish decision. And that's what I don't like in some cases. Like, just because he's the captain, yes, he's great. Fucking hell. If that was the case, Steven Gerrard would still be in our midfield. It was all about respect, for the love of God. Like, you know what I mean? People move on. The world moves on.
Ross, I think you have inadvertently turned this on its head a little bit here. So you think that the Milner role is disrespect. I think that Milner plays a valid role in our squad right now. He needs to move on. And that Jordan Henderson, if I didn't want him, I'd say sell him, move him on. But I still think he has a role to play at the club, and I still think he's a role to play in and around the dressing room. So you're actually disrespecting Milner and Henderson with your own thought process there, mate. For me, I'm just trying to be realistic about his minutes and, acknowledge the role that he plays at the football club as captain. We don't have to have a captain that plays every week. United had Carrick for years, didn't play every week, and this is what happens when players get older. Ultimately, players will come and go, but we all love the football club and we want Liverpool to be challenging. And for me, I'd love us to see us go and have a little look at Tielemans, Paddy, if I'm being honest with you.
Yeah, and on that point as well, I feel like I agree with Henderson going to the Milner role, but I still think he'd be more important than Milner is now. I think he'd still be a lot more prominent for a while yet. So I think while he'll go to the Milner role, I feel like he still will be more prominent in the team. So I feel like that's where the discrepancy is there. But yeah, Tielemans would be great. Although he has a bit of, it's going to sound ironic from me, and he has fitness problems. He's not as trim as he needs to be. And that's one of his downfalls I've read about and seen about. I feel like there's other options ahead of him that I'd like. But yeah, great. I think he costs too much though, to be honest. I hate signing prep.
I don't know if he would, because he's running down his contract as well. I think he's in a Mane type situation. A Mane, Firmino, Oxlade-Chamberlain, Salah. I think he's in the last 16, 17 months of his contract.
Yeah, well, true, but I still think it'd be a lot based on that. You know what I mean? We could sign other. He's a good player. Don't get me wrong, but after that negative stuff I seen about him, I was a bit like, unless he's going to really be, willing to put the work in. Him coming to a Klopp system would be a serious wake-up call for him. And no doubt he'd probably start getting injured then as well.
On this, right? So D Pierce, thank you for your comment, mate. Said the summer will be strengthening the squad overall because Bobby should move into the Origi role, Hendel the Milner role, Thiago behind Curtis Jones. The reason I brought this up is on Thiago. For me, I give him more grace than the rest of the lads because if you can wheel Thiago out of Champions League knockout time for me, and he's able to play in those games, then the rest of the season's all worthwhile having him in and around. If you have him for those the City games, the maybe the United games, those big moments. If you get 25 games a season out of him, honestly, I'd be happy enough, buddy.
Yeah, like Thiago is a majestic footballer. Like watching him is genuinely a pleasure. He's world class. I mean, nobody's surprised by that. We knew we were. He's done it everywhere he's been. He's unbelievable, and he probably pound for pound is the best midfielder at the club in terms of ability and stuff. Just his injury record isn't the best at the club. That's the problem. I know. I seen. He put up when we got through to the final. He put up, "Let's go Reds," and I just tweeted. I said, "Please, for the love of God, be fit." Because we need Thiago. Thiago is undoubtedly in our best team, He's absolutely incredible. And yeah, you're right. He's not going to play every game of the year, but if you can get him fit for the really important ones, he just slots right in.
Yeah, I think he's the one luxury that we can carry in the squad for me, Thiago.
Yeah.
And I don't want him to leave, and I don't. I still love the fact Thiago plays for Liverpool. I mean, that makes me smile even thinking about it. There was something else I wanted to touch on there while we were talking about it. Mane, what was it I was going to touch on there?
I think you're going to tell me he wears the number 20.
Thiago Jota?
Yep.
That song is pants, by the way. I don't like that.
What?
No,
get out, Craig. No, it's not.
Shite. It's so.
He wears the number 20. I actually forgot the second bit, but it's class.
Exactly. See, it's not catchy.
It is catchy.
Too much like hard work singing that one.
It's unreal. That's a great tune. What is the bit? How does it go? Oh, he wears the number 20. I forget the second line. Fuck. I mean, I'm proving your point, but it's quality. He's better than Figo, don't you know? Someone tell me the second line and I'll know it. Oh, he wears the number 20. Oh my God. I can't think of it. Fuck it, whatever. Move on. Fuck's sake.
Yeah, so for me, other midfielders looking around, I mean, the Frank Kessie link, the Dennis Zakaria link, no thanks. And I seen an article actually today that said, so Liverpool, United, and Juventus, Bayern Munich, and a couple of other clubs are interested in Zakaria. Juventus wanting to push for a deal, and yet nobody's willing to pay £5.5 million for him. That baffles
it's strange. No, I feel like he's a no-brainer. He'll take us to victory. Yeah, I feel like it's a no-brainer. Like, yeah, I don't. It's a strange one. There must be some weird demands going on behind the scenes.
Either that, or everybody's that piss poor that £5.5 million to a club like Juventus or Liverpool, United, Bayern Munich, whoever. I mean, you're running a risk there because let's say Juventus feel like they'll get him on a free, and they could get him to sign a pre-contract. But let's say he says, "No, I'm going to wait till the end of the season. Juventus is my preferred destination." But all of a sudden then, Paddy, somebody else midfielder could be injured and they could make an astronomical offer. PSG or somebody could come in and throw silly money at Zakaria, and that plan that you had made is out the window. I would just say get it done for £5.5 million. Like.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, put him on a contract, and then his stock rises. Just from passing through Liverpool or whatever, your stock rises and his price rises. A bit like what happened with Ben Davies, or what will happen when we eventually sell him. Just from passing through the club, his stock rises. So, yeah, why not? Just do it. Like, why? I don't know. Fuck it. For the culture.
And Chiesa is out for 7 months or something, isn't he? With that ACL.
Really, I feel really bad for him because he's such a terrific baller, and he's one of Juventus' best players, and he was so good in Euros for Italy. And it's a shame. It's really a shame for him. But hopefully he can get back to his best, and then we can sign him.
Yeah, hopefully. Any other players out there that you'd like Liverpool to bring in that maybe we haven't spoken about? Because I think we've covered like Bowen, Rafinha, Doku, Luis Diaz. Actually, we haven't. One player I know me and you both have a fondness for that we haven't spoken about much is, and he scored again the other day, is the young lad at Sporting, Pedro Goncalves.
Goncalves, yeah. Oh yeah, he's destined to the top. He's a phenomenal footballer. He strikes me as a Man City type though, for whatever reason. I don't know, but yeah, I wouldn't mind a bit of that. I wouldn't mind a bit of Erling Braut Haaland and Mbappe, possibly. Yeah, they'd be great also.
Generational talents who we have been in the market for, apparently, but when they're available, all of a sudden aren't.
Can you imagine we just ended up signing Haaland or Mbappe out of nowhere? That'd be unreal. I can't actually even imagine. That's how sad it is. Club is the size of Liverpool. I couldn't even imagine that. I would say Isaac as well. I seen the comment there, but he just signed a new deal, I think, and he's going to be on mad money. He's going to be worth a lot.
70 million euro buyout clause before he signed that new deal. So I can only imagine the buyout clause.
It's probably bloody $1 billion, for the love of God. And Sociedad would be in no rush to sell, because obviously they run the model of you have to be from the region to play for them. Basque, so yeah. I don't think they'll be in too much of a rush to sell him.
Gravenberch is an interesting one, but his agent's Mina Raiola.
Basuma, actually, I'm all for Basuma. Yeah, I know we haven't talked about it. We talked about him before, but not in this stream. Basuma for sure. I'm Neuhaus not too mad about, but Basuma, yeah, definitely.
Okay. If his legal situation was okay, Basuma, yeah. I don't know.
Yeah,
that 100% agree.
Vlahovic, people talk about Vlahovic. I think Vlahovic, he is going to be a flop. He's going to flop wherever he goes. I have a weird feeling about it. I think he just suits Serie A as it is, but if he comes to the Premier League, I think he'd flop. I don't know why. I just feel... Karim Adeyemi, absolutely, yeah. Adeyemi.
Looking to replace Vlahovic maybe with Origi at Fiorentina, by the way. That's...
Like for like.
That's what I'm saying. I'm with you. I don't get the Vlahovic stuff. I've watched him a few times and I'm still gone. I don't get it. Actually... One last thing that worried me today before we finish up is the links to Manchester City and this kid from River Plate.
Alvarez.
Yeah, him. He worries me, because I think he will be.
That's pretty. I think that's pretty much done as well.
Yeah, he's.
The thing is though,
in the Super Classico against Boca, he's the next great thing in Argentinian football apparently, and they've just got rid of Kun Aguero, and it looks like they're bringing in the next Aguero.
Well, I actually thought they would. I'd actually prefer them to sign him than Haaland, to be honest, because I feel like Haaland would. It'd be if they ever sign Haaland, by the way, just don't even play the league, because they'll walk it. They on their hands and knees. He would. I said it before. Is not going to flop anywhere, and to slot him into that Man City system would be disgusting.
Yeah, I hope they still go after Kane, in all honesty. If they're looking for another forward, even on top of this young lad, I hope that they're stupid enough to throw money at Kane, because, yeah, I'm with you, man. If Haaland goes there, fuck's sake, it's not even worth thinking about. I'm hoping Real Madrid. For once, I'm actually on Team Florentino Perez in this one. I'm hoping that he gets in there ahead of Pep and City.
Also, quick one. Also, Christopher Nkunku, I seen the chat say that he's a baller, man.
Another one that we've been linked with for a while, actually. Another player you look at and go, yeah, I can see why.
Oh yeah, and he'd commanding a disgusting fee, but he's been on fire for Leipzig this season.
Watch United go out and sign him and not sign a midfielder. That'd just be typical of United and the way they go.
They'll address everything but the problem. And also, apparently, Martial to Sevilla for the rest of the season is official.
Good move for Martial, in fairness. Sevilla fighting for
he done fuck all in England, so let's hope he continue to do fuck all in Spain. Overrated.
Yeah, I mean, no doubt whoever they bring in will be told that they're better than all of our players immediately. The United fans love to talk pony a lot of the time. Look, I think we'll bring this one to a close, Mr. Murphy. When is my next FIFA streams? Tomorrow night at 10. What about yourself over on Twitch? When are you live next?
Well, I just finished a big juicy one there. We got 11 wins. We got some nice rewards, but I think I'll do a bit of COD tomorrow. I think what?
11 wins, nice. What's a win 11, like? 11. I haven't yet felt a win.
No, it's 11. You get 20 games in the weekend league, and I got 11. It was my best result so far, so it was a good bit of fun. But you'll get there, Craig. You can't be. I'm still shit, and I've played the game for about 20 years, 15 years, so you'll get there.
That was my first time playing it yesterday. Apart from the 3 minutes I played the other day when Connor was testing it out, in 8 or 9 years to go near FIFA. Yeah. Like, it changed so much.
It was like you've never been away. You look very fluid.
Oh, yeah, I could see that. I mean, I was just checking the emails today just to see if there's any esports teams sending lucrative contract offers across.
Trust me, if you get onto the online Ultimate Team, you'll break Twitch.
I'm not giving them any money, mate. I'm not giving EA a
You don't have to. You don't have to.
Go on, explain.
You can play Ultimate Team for free. You only have to put money into it if you want to get a better team, but you can play it for free with a shit team and then build your way up.
Your patience
and
is
grind
also not something
SBCs.
you're really blessed with.
No. But trust me, playing online with the people you'll be faced with, it'll write it for you.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. But look, don't forget, get across to Twitch, check out Anfield Agenda, and of course, Mr. Paddy Murphy on there as well. TikTok, you'll find Paddy. I've seen you were
Indeed.
live streaming your Twitch on TikTok as well. I mean, I like the double work there.
Yeah, they tell you not to. Well, but yeah, no, just it's nice little, just to get extra people over. It's like free advertising, really, isn't it? Might as well use whatever we can do.
Absolutely. Look, ladies and gentlemen, we will be back soon. Again, Paddy will be live tomorrow. Is it? You said you're going to be live again on Twitch?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, we'll do a bit on Twitch tomorrow.
And I'll be embarrassed myself at 10 o'clock tomorrow night on Twitch as well. But look, thank you to our sponsors, manscaped.com, WFM20 for 20% off and free shipping. Thank you to Paddy. Thank you to you guys for watching. And we will talk to you soon. Take care.
Take care.